Hey guys, I'm sure that you guys have seen this. Well, there's a few pickups in here that we got to get done that been sitting in here for a long time. Most of my customers know that I'm primarily heavy equipment. I'll use some of these automotive work to do a little fill in. Like right now, the equipment side is a little bit slow, but as soon as I said that, I've got like an excavator that won't move tomorrow and uh, a Temco to go work on and all kinds of stuff going on tomorrow. But anyways, I got to get these done no matter what it takes and get them out of here shortly. I mean, they're probably losing their patience with me. But this 2014 Dodge is this one here had a collapse lifter, and the guy that owns this, he's a real good mechanic. He just something happened on this one. He didn't see it or something. I don't know. He got it out of time is what happened. He had a collapse lifter, and he put a cam and lifters in it. And I just noticed when I was diagnosing this thing, it had a multiple cylinder misfire, and there was a couple other codes that we had run across. It's been a while ago since we looked at it, but I do remember that when I looked at it, uh, I remember looking at the procedure to do the timing chain and the camshaft replacement, and one of the things that I looked at was I looked underneath and I could see that he had the heads off because I saw new head gaskets, which I'll show you here momentarily. But I noticed it didn't look like a wrench had ever been on the pan bolts and stuff. And in the procedure, it was telling you right there that you had to verify timing to do the timing right. You had to have the crankshaft. There's a mark on the timing chain and on the one mark on the crankshaft gear, and they're supposed to be at the 6 o'clock position. And then there's a mark on the camshaft gear and two marks, and those two marks will sit. The one mark on the sprocket on the cam gear will sit between the two marks on the timing chain, and that mark will be on the sprocket up on the cam gear will be at the 12 o'clock position when the crankshaft is the 6 o'clock position, and all the marks line up. So I got to looking at that after I got the harmonic balancer and stuff pulled off this morning. I got to looking at that thing and I said, man, huh. I said, how in the heck did they check the timing if they never pulled the oil pump off? Because I got underneath it, as you can see right here, and the bolts, you can tell the bolts have never had a wrench on them, but you can obviously see where the bolts have been changed and all kinds of stuff's happened up there on the head. As far as I can tell, it doesn't look like the pan bolts. I don't know if maybe they just put it up on number one top dead center and were just hoping the crank didn't move when they put the timing chain marks back up on top. I'm not sure what they did there. But anyways, the book's telling you this little dust cover that's back behind the pan there. See that little structural support? The book's actually telling you to take the rack and pinion loose and drop it down, and I don't know why they're telling you to do that. Anyways, what I got to do here, and oh, by the way, if you hear some jingling or some noise, my wiener dog's bouncing around here while I'm trying to do this voiceover. She's got a little jingle thing on her tags there for her collar. But anyways, what I got to do now is just I've got low compression on a couple cylinders that I checked on the driver's side bank, and then I got good fuel pressure, and I've got good spark. There's nothing wrong with that. So the only other thing when you get low compression like that, there has to be a base engine problem. So anyways, that's where we're at now. We're gonna rotate her around, and I'm gonna see if I can. Well, I'm gonna have to get it jacked up in the air and get the engine mounts loose, get that structural support off, and get the pan drop down to where I can get the pickup tube off and slide the oil pump off the end of the crankshaft, and then I can see the timing mark on the chain and the crankshaft gear. So that's where I'm up to next. I'm actually just showing you some of the steps here in the book, and some of the steps don't really make sense, like they're telling you to drop the rack and pinion down. The rack and pinions, it's a rear sump pan, and that structural support is actually on the back of the pan, and the rack and pinion's clear up in front of the axle, the steer axle. So it didn't really make any sense why they're wanting you to take the bolts and drop that down, so I was a little confused by that. But anyways, that's what we're up to now.
Well, I'm not really certain as to why these guys were wanting you to take the transmission mount bolts out and all that stuff for this. I mean, just why? I don't know. You just take the brace. There's a brace right here that I took off. That brace sets in here like this. And it sets in there like that and bolts to the side of the bell housing. You got to take that off to access the two bolts here for that structural dust cover, they call it. And then you just unbolt it and take it out of there. See service manual for alignment procedure and torque information. Huh, interesting. Okay, so that's off of there. So just my practical common sense thinking here is to take the pan bolts out. Now I can see where maybe this cross, I don't know if you can get the pan. Yeah, man, them transmission cooler lines are gonna be kind of an ass ache. I can see that right there right now. I can see why they took a shortcut and didn't want to do this. But we have to fix it, so we have to do it. So that grommet on that cooler line will have to come loose. I might have to pull these cooler lines clear out of it. Where are they going? Wow, what a cluster. Anybody ever tell you, did I ever tell you how little I think of anything that says Chrysler on it? What a piece of shit they are. People buy them because they're cheap. And this is what you get when you buy this pile of shit. I'm sorry. Sorry. But let's look up. We got the structural dust cover off. Let me go to the next step. Maybe it'll point me in the right direction on what to do next. So I've never had one of these apart, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so they're telling you in the directions, basically, to pull the cooler lines off to get the pan off. So there's a bolt right there I took out. They come clearing the hell over here somewhere. I'm sure they got some kind of special quick connect bullshit fitting on them somewhere. Can't even see them up in there. Yeah, they're really nice ordeal. Yep. Some more superior engineering. Then there's a Torx head right there holding it. I wonder if a guy can just get them loose. Leave them on the transmission. I'm thinking. Get this grommet loose right here. It's going over the stud on the pan. You'll have to pry that off of there. And then get them loose where they're actually accessible up there. And then just let them sag, and maybe a guy can get in there. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I think maybe a guy can do that and not have to dick around with that. So let's see what we got. I gotta get this cross number out too. Okay, let me get some kind of prying apparatus and get back in there and pop that piece of shit off of there. And then I'll have to let it back down on the lift and then try to get my quick connect release things there and see if I can get these popped loose and see if I can get this thing to sag enough to get it out of my way to get the pan bolts off. Alright guys, so I got the pan dropped down far enough to get the oil pump pickup tube loose, and I got the oil pump off. And then I've got my timing marks, and he definitely has it out of time. It doesn't matter what I do, I rotate this thing round and round, and it always comes back to neither one of the marks will line up. The one on the top always ends up with these two to the right of the mark on the sprocket, And the one down here always ends up to the left. And then it's not pointing straight up and down. The one on the bottom, on the crank, should be the one on the bottom on the crankshaft. See the dot? You can barely see that dot. The dot's just to the right of my white mark on the chain. That's the little mark they had on the chain, the factory mark. But every time I've rotated this thing by hand. Okay, so 100% certainty that the timing is off. The marks never will line up. I actually kept track of where it takes you along a lot of turning, but I mean, you can speed up the process. I should have done that. You can speed up the process by pulling the spark plugs out, that way you don't have any compression. And you just keep turning the sumbitch over and keep track of where you're at. Anyways, I can get this mark on the bottom to line up. I did it twice, and I got it to line up on the bottom where the book says, and then these are off to the right. A tooth. He got off a tooth. So we might as well keep going and pull the heads off of her. That's one thing about doing it yourself. If you're the owner, you can always send it somewhere else when you say the hell with it. When you're the guy that, like me, I can't afford to do that. If I screwed up, I gotta fix it. So what we're gonna do now is pull the intake plenum, get all that shit off the top end of the engine, get her apart and see how bad it is, get the heads off of it, and gotta get the exhaust manifolds loose and all that good stuff. Okay, what do we got here? We got AC lines and okay, so let's get the intake plenum off. Let's unplug some of this stuff here, which I'm not really, how's that all? Some kind of quick connect type deal there. Get that off of there. Would be the simplest, easiest way. Let's see here. How is that? That just is slides on there like that. Okay. Oh, my camera got tweaked on me. Could go get the book, but I'm just gonna do the common sense, practical thing right now and start yarding shit off of it. So we know that injectors need to be unplugged, obviously. And then the fuel rails will have to be unbolted and pulled off of it. It had I don't even remember, it's been so long. It had some other codes in it, and we resolved those. And then I never could get rid of the misfire and make it just smoked and started hard and clattered, you know, and it was just you just knew it was out of time, you know. But I had to check, you know. I had to verify that that's what the deal was. Okay, all those are unplugged. Now, well, how about this here vacuum line? That should stay with the plenum when we undo it. And then I've got a coil out there. And then plug these injectors over here. There's like a crossover on that. Some kind of crossover looking thing there, but I guess you can pop. Looks to me maybe you can pop that loose. How does this? Okay. Am I smart enough to figure this one out? Some of these newer fittings, you're like, what the fuck do I do here? Does that go like that, or what's the deal here? That's a fuel line, obviously. Shoot. Get this. Oh. You gotta love all these special little quick connect fittings and things they like to put on everything now. It's just... I would think that should be it. That thing's clear up out of there. Alright. Alright, now we start... Oh, sorry about that. Let's see if we can start getting some of these injectors unplugged on it. See if I can get my pocket knife in here and pry this stupid little lock up on it. Sorry, I'm grunting, but I can't get that damn... There. That damn lock out of there. The little locks are kind of tough to get out of there. On the connectors. Looks like I have the... what do I got undone here? So that must have been... Trent took a bunch of the stuff off when I had him here for the brief time that he was here. The good news is my daughter saw the light. I'm very proud of her. She didn't saddle herself with that dude. Very proud of her. Okay. Now, my thinking is undo the fuel rails and pull them off of there. Looks like there's only a bolt on each side. No, there's one, two there. Is there only one bolt on this one? No, it's a steel here. I see. I'll have to get this thing off. Okay, I got the fuel rails off. I don't think you really have to take those off. It's just like any other modern day V8. Most of the time, you know, those injectors set in the intake plenum, and you can just take the intake plenum bolts out, pop the whole damn thing off. But this one here just seemed like it was just pretty easy to get off, and just made these more accessible to get to. Just more room, you know, so why not? And I already blew this off once, and I'll blow it off before I pull this clear off of here. Why are you hanging up like that? Let's see here, maybe a little ring on the end of my darn impact come off. Now the sockets won't stay on there anymore. Sucks. And that's from using, I will admit that's from using cheap sockets. Usually the cheap sockets do that to them. They're not, the tolerance isn't right on them, and the ring hangs up on them, and then you gotta sit there and jerk the bastard off of there, and it breaks it usually when you get it off. And there it goes. These bolts here out. Plastic piece of shit. Let me climb down underneath this thing now and get my socket. Alright, let's see what all Warren didn't get off. I'm sure there's something on the back of the damn thing that I missed. I never get it the first time. Ouch. What was that? Okay. Oh, I didn't. See, I told you I'd forget something. Whatever this is, I broke it. I did not know that was on the back of that. So now I gotta buy that. I did not know that was on there. Didn't even know it was on there. I thought I was in the clear, but obviously I wasn't. Yeah. This is, he deleted all this variable. He deleted all that. There's a program in there that deletes all that stuff. That's where they were. Makes you wonder, is that what is that what's causing the issue? Let's look at this here. I love fixing what other people screwed up. I just love it. It's just wonderful. I'm trying to look at the valves here to see maybe, can you tell if one's not sitting? That one's partially open, I know that. Man, it sure is looking rough on the stem right there. Now, look back here. It's hard to tell from looking at it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I could tell by... Ouch. I sure got that in a good spot, don't I? So, I guess... I was hoping that I could see, like, the evidence of a bent valve. It's really hard to tell from looking at it that angle there, it really is. I got my borescope. I don't know if I could see anything if I pulled a plug out of it. Stick my borescope down the hole. If I could see anything. Well, you know, I pulled this passenger side cylinder head off and really didn't see anything wrong there, you know, and then you start second guessing yourself, and I was like, man, I know this thing is out of time. There has to be a problem here somewhere. Okay, I just got the valve cover off on this one. Okay, see the push rod just laying there? That's one just laying there. That one there, is that one in there? But the back one's not in either. Did he just, I don't know for certain. I don't know if he screwed up or he got it out of time and it hit, you know, and then popped him out. That's kind of what I'm thinking happened. I'm thinking that he got, like I said, he got it out of time. And I've got a feeling this side hit. We have to check regardless. So we know it's an interference engine, so we have to do our due diligence and check. Because we know that it's out of time for certain. So we have to check it. I'm glad that I seen them push rods off right there. I was sitting there going, what in the hell, man? I know the son of a bitch is out of time. You can't tell me there's not a problem here. So let's... Oh, come on, light. Work with me. Work with me, you bastard. This is the intake side. It's got is that an eye? Is that what that is? Huh? Yeah, she won't fire too good with them there intake valves not opening up. That don't work too good. God, I hope I can get parts of this thing. Yeah, we got to get this head off of here and see what we got. See if we have any damaged valves or anything. I can't imagine. He's pretty. I mean, he's a hell of a mechanic. He really is. I don't want people on this channel running him down. This guy's one of the best guys I've ever met, and he's just a really nice guy. I mean, he builds race cars for shit's sakes, you know. He's not a... People make mistakes, you know. Everybody's not perfect. I made my fair share of mistakes. You guys have seen them on YouTube. So, it is what it is, you know. Shit happens. I'm kind of curious to see if these valves here come closed. Well, it's on this cylinder. Is that valve coming closed? Yeah, it's coming closed. That intake is, but that's not the affected cylinder. How about this one down here? Did it close? It closed, but who's to say it's not bent? Can't really tell. These are a lot. I've got a 03 F-150 over there, Lariat, with the 5.4. And these are a dream to work on compared to that damn thing. Timing one of these is simple. Timing one of these is almost like a small block Chevy in comparison to one of those dual overhead cam. I hate those things. They're good motors when they're running. I mean, they last a long time, but boy, they're just tough to work on. That is an MT-765 Challenger driving by. I hear it. I hear it. Let's just kind of lay this here for right now. Let's get these ones we've seen laying out here. It's not bent. Did it just pop it out of there because it hit, or what's going on here? Why are those just laying, not even hooked to the... Did he just screw up when he put the... Did he just have... it's out of time. I know it's out of time. That's a fact. I mean, these are interference engines. I know that, but... It had to have hit and popped. So if the... Boy, you think it'd be bent, though, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think that son of a gun would be bent? Okay, well, I guess we'll find out. Lay this one right here. Let me pull this off. Pull this one here. I like this ratchet better. There used to be a guy named Eric Hatchett out of Idaho there that used to watch my channel all the time. I don't know whatever happened to Eric. I never hear nothing from him anymore, but he sent me this ratchet a long time ago when I first started making YouTube videos. Man, it looks like this valve's bent. Sure looks, yeah, this valve's bent. Sure looks like it to me. It don't look right. Then we gotta undo the exhaust off the manifold there. I'm sure these are all, that last head I pulled out, they sure look like they were all torque yield type bolts to me. So all those will have to be replaced. And I've seen a lot of I've seen this happen, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a gal one time, she gave me a Volkswagen Beetle. It's one of our friends. She said, it's the timing belt broke. The mechanic shop up there said the engine's no good, needs to be changed out. If you want it, you can have it. I said, sure. That's back when I was way poorer than I am now. I said, yeah, well, maybe we can make something out of it, you know. And I pulled the head. It had a 2-liter Volkswagen engine in it, and I pulled the head on it and had one bent valve. I got on Amazon or something like that and ordered a valve and a head gasket kit and all that stuff. Got it on Amazon real cheap. Shoot. That thing runs like a top. We still got it. Push rods. Are these longer than the intake push rods, or are they all the same length? So the exhaust push rods are longer than the intake push rods. I don't see any bent ones. I was kind of expecting to see some bent ones. Okay, all I got really left to do here is I just got to pull the head bolts on it. And the 2 bolts back on the exhaust manifold, and then we'll pull this head off and see what we got. I'll be back when we're getting the head off. Alright, so I think we're all loose there now. Wrestle this thing off of here. Pickup aluminum heads are pretty light. There ain't much to these. Trying to look at that thing to see. Yeah, you can see where it hit you can see where they hit the pistons there. Oh, stay there, stay there. I'm trying to find somewhere to stand here. Now, see, well, what do we got here? Yeah, see the mark on the piston right there? See where that hit the piston? On that one, and I guarantee you the back one too hit. Yep, there's a mark on the back one right there on the piston, which I'm not worried about that. Those pistons will be just fine. Those pistons will be just fine, but we got to get them valves out of there. I don't see anything like that. Well, yeah, you can barely see. Hang on, there's a little bit of a mark right there where they barely touched on this one too. So we probably ought to pull every valve out of these heads and roll them around on the bench. Probably just get new valves for them. Probably be the safest bet, so we're not doing all this for nothing. I'll get this head gasket off of here. Yeah, the old feller, he got her out of time. That's what happened on her. This side seemed to be way worse than the other side. Okay, well, I'll get off here and take a little closer look at this head. Alright guys, so I got the head gasket kits ordered from Napa. I'm not even going to pull the exhaust manifolds off on it. That's all new stuff anyway. There's nothing wrong with the head itself. I mean, they barely touched, but I ordered a set of valves for it. You can see right there, that shiny spot there. See the very shiny, just barely on the corner of the valve, they touched. So I don't trust them anyways. The valves were cheap. They're only like 50 bucks for a full set of 8 intakes and 8 exhaust. And the head gasket kits will have the valve stem seals in them. And we'll take some emery cloth and lightly touch this head up. You don't want to get too carried away with these aluminum heads. You don't want to take a grinder and a wire wheel to it or something and you'll fuck it up. And we'll take the valve screw and press screw, you know, we'll just knock those out of there and put new valves in it. And anyways, we got to come over here and get the thing back in time. Basically, what I'm reading in the book there, the crank is going to be at 6 o'clock, and the, you know, you're going to have one tooth in the very middle on this, and it'll be lined up, and see, it's off. It's supposed to be at 12 o'clock, and it's over here about 12:30. So he got a tooth off. He got one tooth off, is what he did. And that's all it took, man. It's got to be perfect. So you basically got to collapse this tensioner. I'll have to see how you collapse the tensioner on this one. There's a pinhole right there that you can retain it with. Oh, right there is where it is. And so you'll pop that back and then pin it. And then you can pull this cam phaser off of here. Pull the cam phaser off. And then get your chain on there and time your cam appropriately. Alright guys, well, I appreciate you watching. Thanks much.